I decided gonna pull my fenders off here. I got some inner splash panel shields coming for them, so I will take them off. This fender I welded up the door edge the other day and roughly ground it down. I still had quite a bit on it, and I knew I had to patch that door. I started grinding on it, and you can see there's some pretty good rust holes in it. I think I've got enough CO2 argon in my tank to do that patch. I still got a little work to do here on this fender and right up there in front. So what I'm going to try to do is get this whole door and fender, everything all bonded up and straight before I take the fender off. Then I can clean up the back of it. But for right now, I'm going to try to, I could probably make one big long patch there, but I think that looks pretty. I'd have to cut like a 2-inch piece out of here, and you can see where it's rusted here, this dark spot. So I really need to cut this quite a ways forward in here. I think that's what I ought to do, is make either this patch first or this patch. Cut this one out about 1.5 inches by 6 or 7 inches. Get me a piece, weld this in, and then once that's welded back together pretty strong, then go ahead and cut this one out and weld it in. I don't really want to cut them both out at the same time, because then I'll just have a little thin piece of tin in here with nothing holding it. So anyway, that's what I'm going to do, is cut these out, weld me a patch in, and then start working on this door edge a little more. I really didn't expect any of this. I thought there might be a little something right here, but I didn't realize how bad it was here. And I see some bubbling back there, so maybe I'll take a look at that after I finish these two. But that's what we gotta do. Cut a door patch. Well, here's my patch ready to go. It's got this super thick undercoating on the back of it. There's that old Rambler door, but this I sprayed in here to kill the rust. Rust Converter Ultra. I don't know, I paid $40 for this. A gallon of it, I don't know, 3-4 cars ago. But it works really good. It turns rust into a black phosphate. I just put it in a little Coke bottle here. You can see what it looks like. And I squirt it in there, and then I just take an air gun and blow it around. It'll try to, that way it'll get to most of the rust. I'll put more in when I do this part, and then I'll blow some on the inside. But the stuff works really good. It makes a phosphate coating. It won't rust anymore. Anyway, now I'll weld in my patch. And there's that. pretty smooth. It's a little low right in here, but that's okay. I got another low spot right here, but that's alright too. Looks like that rust was dented in a little, but this will straighten all up with Bondo. Feels pretty flat. Now I can move on to cutting this one out, and I'll put a patch in there. Well, before I get spending a lot of time on this, I've got this edge pretty good here, but this fender here is out from the bottom about that much, and the door is sticking out a little. So what I'm going to do is open it up, loosen this bottom hinge, and see if I can't push this door in a little, because it's really got too much gap right here. The door is not closed all the way right now, but I want to try to get this pushed back in that way a little, and try to get this straight with the bottom edge here, because I did get the fender flush with that. But you can tell it's maybe a 1/8 of an inch out, so I'll try to get that back in and see what happens then. That's a lot better than it was. This is still pretty flush. This is flush. I've got this sticking out maybe 1/16 of an inch. What I did was just take a board and a big hammer and put in there and whack it with hinges loose and tighten it up. So this little bit of area right here, I can fill this bottom with Bondo, and it looks like it's good at the back of the door. Might not be so good right in the middle, but I've got it real straight up and down right here, and this is I moved it in about 1/16 of an inch. This was flush before, and now you can see my fingers are hitting the edge of the fender. So I got the door in a little bit, and this fender's out right here. I'll do the same thing. I'll just take my board in here and whack it, and try to shape this fender a little bit better, and then I can continue to grind it off and fill it. But my gap is still straight. It's matching real good right here. I don't have no fill at all in that, maybe just a little, but I think we'll be good for doing this. I'm going to weld this other patch in here and try to straighten up some of this other stuff a little bit, and I should be ready for Bondo on this thing. Every patch I do gets better and better, faster and faster. That one's all done. When I trimmed it, it went in right in the hole, and it held. It didn't fall out or anything. I didn't put enough curve in it, but that's okay, because I want to finish this curve up with Bondo. Don't have any pinholes or anything in it that I can see, so all I got to do is clean this edge up here, and I'm going to throw some Bondo on this and see what it looks like. Well, here it is, all cleaned up and ready for Bondo. I got the majority of the weld marks out of the inside of that fender. The gap is pretty straight all the way up and down. I still got a little bit more work to do there on that gap on the bottom, but all this is good. I got this trimmed real nice right here. Like there's a little low spot, but anyway, I think that's good enough. These patches here turned out real nice. They're smooth. I can see there's little dents and stuff in them, but that's alright. That door was no better than that before I started. So we'll mix up some Bondo and throw on it and see what it looks like. At this point, I quit using Bondo. I started using this Featherite from USC. It's white and got a blue hardener. It goes on easier than Bondo, and it's much easier to sand, and I think it's a higher quality. You know, Bondo costs $30 a can. This costs $40 a can. So I'm going to go ahead and start using this. I use Bondo for, you know, all the heavy stuff. It's really hard. It's hard to sand. This stuff is not as hard, much easier to sand. And so I'm going to use this on that other side. Just give it a shot. Well, there's a thin coat on it. It's not sticking as well as Bondo, but it's staying soft a lot longer. And I wasn't trying to get anything real perfect here. I wanted to sort of leave where my gap is there. I didn't mix this real hot, and it's kind of cold out here today. It's probably 65. So this is taking time to harden up. I did touch it up in a couple places with this blue to just see how it's going to fill. Yeah, it looks like it's pretty good there. He put it on with a lot of pressure. It fills up alright. But I basically got the door here. This edge right here turned out real nice. You can tell where I just swiped across it. It's almost perfectly flat. I should have put some more down in there. I wonder how wet this is. Yeah, this is still wet. So actually I'm gonna try to do that. I'll take some of this back here. Oh yeah, it's still real wet. And I'm just gonna fill this part right here. That's good. Yeah, this is not gonna, I thought I'd be able to take my crease out of there, but I don't think so. I don't think this is gonna harden up fast enough to mess with it. I didn't put enough hardener in it, I think. Yeah, that's good enough. I used some of this that I took off, which was quite a bit. I'll just try to fill some of these places with it. Yeah, it's not sticking as well, but it is going on and being real smooth. Bondo is too, but I'm I'm just cleaning my spatula now, basically. But it looks pretty good. I probably should put a lot more on. I can see that there's a dent right in here. So I need to fill it from here to here. But that's what I'll do, is once this is dry, I'll take a board sander across here, and that'll tell me what's going on, and I could put some more on it. I shouldn't have mixed it. I should have mixed it a little hotter, but I'd rather have a little more time to work it than I would have it hardened up on my board. So I guess I'll call it quits. We'll come back and see what this looks like tomorrow. I thought I'd just throw a little heat on this for the fun of it. This little infrared heater works really good. Probably not going to affect the bottom down there much, but it should harden this up pretty fast. We'll give it a few minutes of this. I'll see if I can work on this little top place right here a little bit. That heater worked like a charm. Hardened this right up, and I hit it with a board sander, and it looks like I'm already hitting a high spot here, and right in here. Of course, this bundle here is stopping it, but very little in there. You can tell, not even a 1/16 of an inch. So this door is going to look like that all the way down. It's going to be real close and real tight and straight. I don't know how this is still, well, you know, that looks pretty hard. Maybe I can try a board sander on this too. Well, it sanded all right. It verified that not focusing. Has some low spots right in here. I can feel it, you know, it's real low right there, but it's hitting metal here and here. So this low spot is only a couple inches on each side. Down here I'm hitting high and high, so it's just a little on the front of this door. So that's not bad at all. This is not even an 1/8 of an inch. Let's see if I can get a straight edge on here. You can see down in there, it's hardly any gap. 1/8 of an inch at the worst. And up here, this is all metal to metal, is almost perfect. Right in here, it's perfect. Right here, it's almost perfect. Looks like this fender gap might be just a little bit low. So I'll go ahead and I'm done for the day, but I'll let this cure, and then I'll take my cutoff tool and open my gap, and then put some more Bondo on it. I probably maybe 2 more little passes across there, and this will be all good for that door and fender mount or edge. This up here at the top is almost perfect. Probably the fender should come up a little bit. I'm real close to the chrome there. I'm going to say that's good. I'm still, like I said, I got to pull this fender off to put some splash guard rubbers in it, but I'm real pleased with this. and it looks like my patches down there on the bottom or nothing's real high. This high spot right here is a part that I didn't weld. This is a little bit low right in here, so I think this will all be good. Just more, put it on, sand it off. Alright, I came back after the stuff was dry or hard, and this was all full of Bondo, so I took my little air saw here and opened it up, and then a little sanding disc. This is not a perfect job by any means, but what I'm going to do now is open up the door, and I'll put a piece of tape on the back side of this so I don't get a whole lot of Bondo in the hole, and I'll just skim this whole section right here from probably 6 or 7 inches on each side of it. And the idea is to get this all flat right here by this door gap, and once I can do that and get this flushed, then I'll take a little more care of getting this gap straight. So that's what I'm going to do, is tape it up from the inside, so when I close the door it'll kind of try to keep a whole lot of Bondo out of there. Well, there we go. I mixed up another batch. It's pretty hot. I mean by hot, it's going to dry pretty quick. And just covered this up and took my scraper and just opened that gap up so I don't have to cut it out again. And we'll try sanding this again. I'm pretty sure I'll have a low spot right there in the middle, but this should be pretty close. Yeah, I'm going to have a low spot there, but we'll just let it dry. I went back here to the back of the door and got some rust spots here. I'm going to send the wife to go get some more gas. I'm almost out, so I'll try to cut this out, make a patch, and start tacking it in. Maybe I can use the rest of my gas. I got another, probably enough to do that patch, but today's the only day I got to get this bottle filled, and it's $100, and she's got a day off and got the car, and I can send her to go get it. Well, I was able to get those 2 little patches welded up, and the gas was right on 0. I might have been able to do one more patch. So anyway, I got that done. And now I'm about ready to try hogging off my Bondo here. It'd be good and hard since I took the time to do that. I'll kind of board sand it off, see what it looks like. Well, this is all ground down. Looks like I've got a little high spot right here. I knew these were low though. I made sure they were low. But it's basically real good. Probably need to beat that down just a little. And I got another coat of Bondo on this. I'm getting that low spot filled up. I'll knock it off with a board sander and take another look at it. Well, next thing, I thought I would move on to this nose piece and valence and stuff in here. Now I had bondoed this up. I wanted the bondo to stick to the fender and not the valence. So I put a piece of tape, you can still see part of it right here, to keep the bondo off of the valence. And then right in this area it transitioned, and the tape went on to the, I think this is tape right here, maybe not, but the tape went on to this part here so I could put some bondo on the valence. Now right between the top and the bottom there's going to be a transition for this crack from where it's going from one side to the other. Now this is all pretty solid in here, so what I'm doing, I'm just taking a knife here and I'm opening this up. I'm just trying to get enough of a hole in here somewhere that I can get this little body saw in it. And once I can get that through, then I can cut a little tiny line in there, and I can get this line straight. So that's what I'm doing. I'm trying to get a hole open so I can get that knife in. Well, I couldn't get the body saw in it, but I was able to get this crack opened up a little and got it all cleaned up in here. Got all my tape off of it, so this is good. I rounded this off down here. I've got a strange transition. The fender's not quite matching the, you can see up under there, but fender's hanging down quite a bit. So I've tried to make a transition there that hopefully won't be too noticeable. Don't know what I'll do with that, but now I've got a straight edge here for everything that you're going to see mostly. I couldn't really determine where this bondo is here. I think this is where it transitioned into bondo. Is supposed to be on the fender. So what I'll have to do is get under there and break this loose, and hopefully wherever I taped it here will show me a line, and I won't break up my bondo too bad. I need a straight line all the way down, but I was trying to get into this and it's really hard to cut. So anyway, that's how far I got on this one. At least I've got it started to break loose. I'll have to unbolt it in there and straighten my gap out, and then I'll bolt it back together, and then I can go ahead and cover this. Now I can cover it easily because once I fill it with bondo, I can just put the spatula there and clean out that area, and that'll keep my gap good. I've got a little more work to do right in here. It's a little rough. I've got a few low plot spots up in here and right in here, but that'll take some massaging to get that done. And this is probably pretty hard. Yeah, it's good enough. Now I can get on this with a board sander and see how well I flattened it. Well, here we are. I put another fine coat on there. I think that's going to get rid of all of my low spot. I'm not too impressed with this feather fill. It doesn't go on real smooth. It doesn't want to stick very good, and takes a long time to dry. I mixed that up with quite a bit of hardener in it, but it's in or on, and hopefully that'll do it. I don't really see any low spot. Might have a little bit right there in the middle still, but that should clean up this part. I went ahead and ground that down back there. That looks pretty good. Need just a little more work on that, and throw some Bondo on it. And I just covered a few little low spots with what I had, and I'm getting a ton of trash out of this section right here. But hopefully we're getting close. I haven't tried Bondo honey in this stuff. I mean that plastic filler honey. That makes this stuff really runny. Yeah, it'll probably make it stick a lot better and go on better. If this dries good enough, I'll knock it down, and I'll try some of that in it. But it took quite a bit there. 3 or 4 golf balls full. I don't know, like a cup of Bondo. And I need a little more right there in the bottom. Sort that out. And of course a little more here on this fender. But I think I'm getting near the end of this door and fender line here. When I was sanding it, looks like it's real good right there on the top and on that bottom of the door. That, I don't know what you call it, the panel below the door. It looks pretty good all the way down the door, and I'm going to get a good transition right there. I still need to crawl under there and weld that very bottom. Up here on top, I massaged that just a little, and that's all good and straight. So press on with the never-ending body work. Well, that body honey flowed this on real nice. I'm pretty sure I don't have any more low spots in it. Maybe just a little right there in the middle. But looks pretty good to me. I don't really see any low spots or anything in it. Of course I can't tell until I sand it again, but that'll be enough for today. Come back tomorrow, that'll be real good and hard. I can whittle it down some more with a board sander. Actually took quite a bit of Bondo, more than I thought, but mostly because we got about 3 feet, 2.5 feet of a taper in that thing to get it all dead flat. I sanded off quite a bit of it, but